And I just learned, there we go. I just learned that T-Mobile offers like internet for your home and for your businesses. Like, I just don't think I ever knew that. So I'm actually going to look into it to see if I like it better than Spectrum. Because I'm not committed to Spectrum, honestly. But anywho, I don't really quite know what's happening. We're just going to jump right into it. And those that join, hopefully people aren't having the same issue you had, Lorena. And we're just going to go from there. Does that sound good to everybody? And welcome to those on Facebook. Tony, if you can keep an eye on Facebook for me, I'll try to navigate to it. It's just, I just don't know how great I'll be at it. So if you can keep an eye for any questions or comments or anything, just let me know. And you all, please be a sign if my internet is popping in and out. Hopefully it's not, because I checked all the settings. I have strong internet, so we should be good to go. But I'm going to quickly just share my screen here so that we can jump into the continuation of last week. I think those here in the Zoom, all of you were here last week, so I don't need to do too much of a review. But if you do have questions, like if you need a reminder for something, just let me know. So remember, you would sign in into your account. Let me move this from the screen. You would sign into your account and kind of go from there once you're logged in. And what we're going to do is we're going to continue from the page that we started. Remember, we started one of the ADI sites, and we almost completed that one, except the domain piece. So we need to go back to that. If you have any questions about that one, just let me know. But that was this one. But the one that we stopped on was this one, that we were starting the process. So what happens when if you're going back to a site that you're in the middle of editing, or if you need to edit a site that you've had for a while, whatever the case may be, you would click on the site. You can double click or just click select and edit. It will take you to the back end. We're going to get to the back end, but that's not what we're about to do right now. It will take you to the back end. And what you want to do is pay attention to up here. Like if you just want to edit the site, that's what you do. If it's something else that you're wanting to do with the site, you click this drop down and decide what it is that you're going to do. In this case, we're editing the site. Okay. And remember what I was telling you all last week about the site. It's very much going to take, a few seconds to load and come up. So just remember that that's a thing and that will in fact happen. So just be a little patient with it. So this was one of the default sites that we went through. Again, please, I encourage you to just take notes, because there's not a PowerPoint or Canva presentation that you'll get after this, just this recording. But if there's notes that you just want to take, if you have questions, please ask it throughout. And we went through the tools. That's where we stopped last week. I just kind of ran you through these tools. So hopefully you remember those. And if you do have questions, again, just let me know.
Yeah.
So now
sorry, there on the tools, what is actually, I know the grid lines, the rulers, but what is snap to object? What's the goal
so
of that?
Snap to objects is when you're moving things around your website, it immediately, you see that pink purplish line? When I move, do you see it?
Mm-hmm.
There's like a teal line, like it's telling you these are the spots to make it leveled with certain parts. So are you trying to level it with the heading, or you're going above the heading line, you're now moving into the header, like, you see what I mean? It's telling you where things are snapping into. And I'll do it without, let me put that back in its place. I'll do it without like removing snap to object. You see how it's no longer telling you if you're lining up?
Yeah, okay. It's to find the perfect alignment with other objects.
Right, it keeps your site aligned, basically.
Okay.
It's an easy way to do it. And some people hate it. Some people think it drives them crazy because all the lines start to confuse them, and they prefer, some people use all of these. Some people prefer the rulers. I personally cannot operate with the ruler. The ruler kind of throws me off, but so I keep it off. But yeah, that's what snap to object is. Okay.
Mhm. And what are those 4 arrows pointing to each other, right to the left of tools?
4 arrows to the right of tool. That just zooms in and out of the screen.
Oh, that's a
So
zoom. Okay.
if you're trying to look at something like wide, like, you know.
Oh, to see kind of the whole page.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. So yes, please feel free to ask questions as we go through those, because some things like that I probably wouldn't even think to cover. So if you have a question, let me know. And I'm just going to start running through the same steps. Remember I told you last week, the steps are very similar to the ADI when you're starting, as far as creating an account, signing up. If you already have an account, you can do this all in the same account. As you saw on my account, you can have multiple Wix sites under one account. Okay. So you saw we've created all of these under one account. So the first thing, after you choose your template, remember we just chose this basic template. But after you choose your template, the next thing that I suggest that you do is update text and images on the website. So your company name isn't like, you like the font, you like everything, but your company isn't Consulting Solutions. It's Consulting Strategy. So you're changing it to say strategy instead. Or, it's, I don't remember what we called the other company. I think we just called it Lorena's website or something, but we're going to call it Lorena's website. Let's keep it kind of consistent. And you change whatever text you want here. Same thing like if you're using any other platform like Google Docs or Microsoft Word or anything like that, you get your text settings. So if you want to change the font, you hit that drop down arrow and you go through the process of changing the font however you want it to. All of these things should be fairly similar. And just like most platforms, if you don't know what something is, if you hover over it, it tells you what it's going to do, right? Like if you need to change something, if you want text effects, you hit that drop down for the various effects that it can do to text. Wait, I want to do it here. The various effects that you wanted to do to text, like if you wanted to add that background to it, or if you wanted to do a shadow instead, whatever the case may be, or you just wanted to stay exactly how the default was. All of that is general stuff. If there are certain text, and same thing, if you need to change a character, like you want a particular character to be bigger, like if you want the L in Lorena to be bigger than the rest of, let me triple check that that's the right space to do it. You want no, this is the line spacing. Oh no, this is all connected to your spacing. I'll get to, I don't know where it is where you can change the size of a particular font. Maybe they changed it. Yeah, I think it's here. You would change like where it says themes or whatever, you would change whatever highlighted piece you want larger or something like that. All of these things here are just tied to spacing. Again, if you have particular questions, because I'm not going to go into detail with each of these, if you have particular questions, just let me know. What I do want to point out is,
Magley, I'm sorry. I was taking notes. I was writing down. Now, where did you get this text settings? Where did you go to get it?
When you go over any piece, the settings pop up.
Oh, good.
In this case, I think it's because I highlighted it. It pops up. But any section that you're in, it will, like if you see how it didn't pop up here, but you want to edit something, you see that box that does pop up that say edit text.
Good.
It'll pop up and it'll be the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yes,
so
yes.
Automatically does it for you.
Good.
And a lot of times I think it gets in the way when you're designing a site, but just know you could move it. Like if you're trying to see something else, it's very user friendly. Like you can move it to be over here because you want to stretch this text out and you needed that space or something. You know what I mean? Like you can do stuff like that. So don't let it distract you as you're going through the process. And there's always the undo button if you mess up. Don't freak out if you accidentally delete something. Just remember to undo it. And you can always go back to previous versions of it. But what I did want to point out with the text settings here is where you see the SEO and accessibility, and we will go a little deeper into this as we go on the back end of Wix. But I want to point this out to you in case you want particular text on that page to have an SEO tag. And, you know, a lot of you were here last month as we went through SEO. And I don't think I went through detail about H1, H2, H3, H4, all of that last month when we covered SEO. But if, don't quote me, and Tony, if you're near Google, triple check this for me. But all this stands for is header 1, header 2, header, you know what I mean? Like it don't let the letters confuse you. But if you want these things to have an SEO tag connected to your site on the back end, just know you have that option when you're doing that, when you're building your site and your page, okay?
That's
and
correct.
again,
You're asking about the header?
yeah.
Yeah, that's correct.
Oh, okay, I was like, I hope I'm saying the right thing. I needed to triple check. Thank you. But like, and if you ever like don't remember, most things in Wix, when you see this eye pop up anywhere around the site, like you'll see most things that you don't know. There is an option to learn more, get more information. That eye just means information, and it just tells you what it is. And if you need more detail than what they tell you, click the learn more button. The learn more link, excuse me. Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to point out that SEO feature for you, although we will go a little deeper into SEO, hopefully before the end of today's session. So yeah, I wanted to point that out. So once you make the changes, if you all remember last month, I say spend a lot of time on what you put on your home page, because your home page matters a lot for SEO. So they recommend your homepage somewhere, even if it's at the bottom, you have contact information. Even if you have a contact page, you'll notice a lot of websites do that. Some people just have it as their footer, so it's on every page no matter what. But just certain things like that. Pay a lot of attention to the words, all of the SEO things you heard me talk about last month. Apply them to your homepage where it makes sense. Your homepage is the first page that the search engine results pages search and pull data from and start to, you know, decide where your page will be listed in the list of things on Google. So spend time on that homepage. And then also, if you want a site, if the website template that you chose have images, but this image doesn't speak to your brand, whatever, you can change the image. So you click over the image, same thing like text. Normally if you double click, it'll just pop up. But you also just can manage media settings. Like this menu that pops up is for the image in this box. So in this particular case, you say manage media. You can decide to do whatever you want to it. Like these are kind of some of the default things that Wix has arranged for this particular image, but you could decide, I don't want that at all. And I want to add my own, right? And you just click add media and you pull from your files or from wherever for your pictures. Like most platforms, and I think you'll see this a lot more when we go over WordPress, they have so many images that you can pull from. And I don't know why this, let me go back. They have so many images that you can pull from that's in their database. Did I click manage media or settings? I don't even remember. But oh, there. Let me see. I'm trying to get into their gallery. Okay, there we go. And you can, okay. The Wix Pro Gallery is a little different. Keep in mind, we create, this is a free page that we're creating. So this isn't a pro account that we're working from, but a lot of these things have a lot more options for you. As you go through this process. I know it's a little confusing because I'm not going through every line item, but I want you to know that when you go through it, you'll see it. This is not a pro account, so you're not seeing the full value of the Wix Pro Gallery, but you can change the image, okay? And if you don't want to choose an image from their gallery because you didn't choose to pay for a pro account, you can add your own image. How I told you, when you click manage media and you click add media and add your own image, and you can change that image to something else. Yeah. Or you can, yeah, just options. It's literally the same. Now, again, we'll talk about SEO, but just to reference last month again, when you're doing these images, remember I told you, name your images on your sites when it makes sense. This is where you would do that as well. Like when you click on an image, title it what you want Google to know it as. When people are searching images, you want people to find something, title it that way. A lot of us do whatever default our computer saved it as and upload it to our sites, and that's just what it is. I want to highly recommend to you that you name your image, you title your image something.
Magali,
Mhm.
I was looking through my notes and I heard like if we don't, there's a lot of issues with the pictures, things that have copyright, but you can go to Unsplash and it's a bunch of free images. I know there are a couple of other websites where they're just free images, but I heard of that one. I don't know if anyone knows another one.
Yeah, there's that one. And then sites like Wix and WordPress, the images that they have built in that you can pull from, all of those are approved for you to use. So, and on WordPress, if memory serves me right, when we go through WordPress, you'll see the difference between the ones that WordPress have access to that you have to pay for, even with a paid account, and the ones that's just open for you to use on your website because they have it, I mean, Wix is very similar, but like I said, we're not seeing it in this particular case.
I'm sorry,
okay.
Lorena, can you say what was the free one again?
Unsplash. I'm gonna look for the link. I'm gonna put it on the chat. Okay.
Okay, good. And I got one more question, which I think is the right spot to ask this.
Okay.
Is there any place that I can go to get free sounds?
Yes, there are free sound sites. None of them are coming to mind immediately, but
Okay.
there are spaces for that. And what I'll do, I don't know that I'll do it before 1:30 while we're on this call, but Marlene, if I don't bring that to our next meeting, if you follow up with an email, and I promise it's not going to take me a week like I did with Lorena or 2 weeks like I did with Lorena, I'll send those links to, and you honestly, you probably could literally just Google free sounds and it'll take you to options where you can find it.
Magali, I can help you with that because I did it for my podcast to look for royalty-free music, and perfect. YouTube has a search is free YouTube music, or also YouTube Music Library, and also GarageBand if you have an Apple computer or Apple Pad. GarageBand has a lot of royalty-free music or sounds.
Can you put that in the? Yeah,
put that in the chat, please.
Sure.
Right now, I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I forgot about GarageBand, honestly. That's awesome. But yeah, so just wanted to point that out with reminding you all with images. Same thing with sound. That same rule applies with sound. So it's great to have the aspect of, royalty-free sound. So once you change your images on your homepage and things of that nature, before we move on to any other page on your site, I would suggest, if you're happy with the plain white background, which I think most website designers would tell you it's a good idea to have white space on a site, I think is what I've heard a lot. I'm not a website designer, so don't quote me on that, but I think I've heard them say that a lot. What I suggest you do next, if this is something you want to do, is consider your background. So this here, where you see my mouse moving up and down, this is pretty much your menu, right? And I think this one is the background. Yeah, this one. And if you don't remember, you just hover over it and it tells you what each thing is. But if you want to change your background, I would suggest this is the time to do it, because if you want the rest of your website to have the same background, you want to start with the home page. So if you're fine with whatever default background comes with your template, then you don't have to worry about this step. But if you do, you just click that background button. Wix has a whole lot of default backgrounds. Some, as you can see, are video. Some are just images. You can just decide you want your background to be just a color and change the color to something else on your background. You can have an image on your device that you want to make your background. So you click image, or you may have your own video to make your background. I didn't mean to click it, but this is if you want to upload your own file to make your background or add any pictures to your site. So I would say this is a time before you switch to anything, if you want to change your site, that you consider it. And let's just say in this case, we decide we do want to change the background. I don't remember what type of business we said we're going to go with. That's not going to work for us.
Magali, but you say once we click on that background image or color, it will automatically apply to every page we create afterwards, or only
No,
to
it will only apply to the current page that you're on. And if you decide you want it on every page, you see this button here that say apply to other pages.
Oh, yeah.
That's when it will go into all the other pages. So what I said was, I suggest you do this while you're on your homepage. If you do want to change your background, you do it while you're on your homepage to then determine, okay, do I want this on all my pages? And you quickly just click apply to other pages. And you can always come back to this if you don't decide to do it as your first step. I'm just kind of making sure I highlight this for those that may decide they liked everything about this site, but the plainness of the background, you know? So just highlighting this for you all as an option. And like I said, they have default ones, but you can upload your own. And with the pro account, you have more options as well. So it's really up to you. Just wanted to bring that to your attention.
Magali, sorry, I heard something that there are some lawyers out there looking for websites that don't comply with the accessibility of your website, and then you get hit with like a lawsuit. They're just trying to get money out of small websites. How do we make sure our website complies with that rule or law? I don't know really the details of it. Has to be for the visually impaired, it has to be easily accessible.
So you saw when I said with the text, and I'm gonna go back. Remember when I said with the text, the SEO and accessibility, this piece of it, this helps with the accessibility piece that you're asking. But as far as making sure that your website won't be flagged for some of those things, these platforms are automatically designed to make sure that you are in line, which is why a lot of people encourage that if you're not a web designer and web builder, that you use stuff like Wix and Squarespace and WordPress and all of these other website in a box, because they do all of the work for you. And on this back end, when we go through some of these steps to kind of show you the steps, you'll see like Wix will tell you, like they will tell you, like whether it's in your analytics and reports, I don't know if that's where it is, but they will literally walk you through steps to say, now do this to make sure that you are in compliance. They'll tell you if something is wrong. You know what I mean? I don't know if that particular one, I know how to find it off bat, but it is back here, Lorena, and I'm sure like stuff like this, like they'll tell you what you need to do, like as far as cookies and release managers, like it will all be, it's a very user-friendly, making sure that you are in compliance site. And that's not just for Wix, same thing with WordPress when we go through it. So yeah. But if there's something very specific to your accessibility, like that's kind of what I was showing you with the text when we went down to SEO and accessibility. And again, these sites, these website in the box sites, like you can have it. I don't think I selected it when I first went into it. Yeah. Let me see if I can do it from here. Developer mode. I'm trying to see if I can do it. I think if I was to turn on developer mode, I'm not going to do it honestly, because it's very confusing for me. It's not my expertise, but I think being in developer mode, it really does give you a different viewpoint, and things like that are like, they're showing you things like that. But again, it's already built in to the DNA of the site. I just want you to know that. And they did it that way so that you don't have to worry about it, you know? But if there is something specific, I always recommend people feel free, like the Small Business Center. Oh, I didn't do introductions today, but anyways, the Small Business Center, they have access to attorneys. Hustle has access to attorneys. A lot of our partners have access to attorneys that you can speak to. I don't think they'll give you legal advice per se, but I think they can guide in some of your questions at no fee to you, as you all know. So just kind of keep that in mind, okay? And you see how I just undid, like I kept clicking undo to come back to this. You'll also see it pops up something similar to this if you want to see any of the versions that you changed on anything. Most times when you undo something on a page, you'll see a pop up to say, did you mean to do that? And when you click site history, you can click on a different version. But anywho, so yeah, if you want to do the background, that would be your next step. And if you want to apply it to all the pages, you would click that blue button that says apply to all other pages, and bada bing, bada boom. Once you have gone through potentially changing your background, if that's something you want to do, or if you don't want to do that, you just go to the next step. Most of these templates have default pages for you, right? In this case, this site has a default about page, a default services page, projects contact. Not all sites or not all template sites have those things. Some of them don't have anything. Some of them you'll have to add to the page, whatever. But this is the step where you're going to go page by page and change what you like, customize it to what you needed to say, how you want it to look. You can move things around, very similar to the homepage. Like you can do what you want. Like you don't want this here. You rather that be a picture of a happy family or whatever the page may be. Even if you don't, and if you want to rename the pages, like if it's not the name you want it to be, sorry, let me move all these things from my computer, but it's not the name you want it to be. You don't want, like after home, now keep in mind, again, for those that are with us last month, there's some things that these systems do in default, because remember, as we talked about how you set up your site, and it was saying how, home, then about, then that makes sense to Google, that you would do things in a certain order. But if it just doesn't work for you and it's just not what you want it to be, or if you don't call your thing services, you have a fancy name that fits your brand, or if you need to add another page, this is the process of doing that. Next to you all see this kind of header editor area where I'm at. You would click this drop down button. Typically you would have been on the home page, so it would say home, but you would click this drop down button and click manage pages. That would be your, if you need to add anything. If you just want to go page by page and edit those pages, you would literally do that and make those edits as we talked about. Like make whatever edits. If this is too short for you, you need more, whatever the case may be, okay? But if you need to add more pages or take away a page, you will click manage pages. And this will pop up as your side menu. And you can see where you get to add a page. And it gets tricky and fancy. I'll see if I can do it, but let's just say you have a page, but you need a page within a page, right? Or you need links within a page. So like how services and projects is, like it's your services page, but projects is part of services page, because you don't see projects anywhere up here, because you don't want it to be a main header. You didn't want projects as a main header, but you did want projects under services. You have the option to do that as well. So like if you wanted contact, okay, we want to add a page. Let's just say we're going to call this page, it's a social media page. Let's look for a general option. Okay, let's just go with this one. We're going to add this page. And we want it to be social media. We want it to live under our contact page. So you title it, you named it. See, it automatically, I think based on where my mouse was, it automatically added that. But I don't want social media to be a header. I just want it to be an option when people go to contact us. You could either do exactly what I'm doing. You can drag it, and you can make sure you pay attention to what it does when you drag it, because if I move it over just a little bit, it just moves it down. It just moves it from where it was to there. But that's not what I want. You want it to live under it. So you kind of slide it over, literally. All you do with your mouse is slide it over. And now it's not a page there. It's a page within the page when people click on pages. And you would manage it like any other page. When you go to your social media page, you add whatever you want to add to it. And this is, like it says, this is your site menu. This is what's at the, some people it's at the top, some people it's on the side, some people it only pops, they have it set up where it pops up, however you want to do it. The other thing that I want to point out to you when you're here And this may not appeal to some people. Some people may like it, but if you want your page to be a little, you know, as people walk their way through, wants to be a little exciting, you don't want to transitions from one page to the next, very similar to other platforms. And these are general options. I want to say, don't quote me, I would have to go into my other website. I want to say with the pro account, there are a few more options in page transitions if none of these appeal to you, on how your page is switched. And you can kind of see when you click it, you test it out and you see what it's doing. Like if you want your transitions to be horizontal, it's showing you that's how it's going to happen. If you want it to be vertical, you'll see that's how it's going to happen, so on and so forth. I'm going to pause for a minute because I see Jasmine that you have a question.
Yes, hi, and you may get to it, you may not. The first question is, I guess can you maybe give me an example of who would do a page within a page, like when that will maybe be beneficial? Contact or something. Is this the same thing as if you wanted a pop-up box to come up to where someone first gets on your page where you can like collect email information? Or is that considered something different, like not a page?
So you were going in and out. So I hate to do this to you, but can you repeat yourself? Because we didn't hear the full question. You were breaking up for a minute.
Okay, so the first question is, I guess I just wanted to know an example of when someone would do a page. Like I'm trying to figure out if it's beneficial. Hear me?
So you broke up again, but did you say you want to know when someone would do a transition page? Is that correct?
No, an example of when a page within a page is beneficial.
Oh, a page within a page. I think the example they have with their services, and let me see if I can pull up actually our hustle website. I don't know if it would pull up. Yeah. So can you all still see my page? I mean, am I on hustle website for you all, or am I? Okay.
Yes.
So
Yes.
if you look at where we have programs, for example, Jasmine, like I didn't want all of our programs listed as headers. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I have a header called programs, but when you click programs, you can click different things and it'll take you to a different page that's on our site, but it's not there. So like you can click womanpreneur and it'll take you to our womanpreneur page. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I think that's an example of, so I'm not quite sure. I don't remember, forgive me, from last week. I don't remember exactly what your business is, but sometimes it makes sense for people, sometimes it don't. So it's just, if that's something that's beneficial to you to have, like you don't want all of these headers across your site, like, you know, based on what you do, you can kind of have like what you do. Like in this particular example, they have services, but under services, they have their projects. And I guess they would just go deeper into their projects. And if you click their actual services page, it probably tells you about their service. You know, you see what I'm saying? But that would it would be too much for one page, but it's still the same category basically. So yeah. And I think you said you had a second question. Yes.
So is page within a page, is that how you would do, like looking to do like an email pop-up contact, like when someone first initially goes to your website, that you can like gather the email address? Is that something completely different?
No, you can set your website up to automatically do that. I don't think we chose a site that defaulted it, and I'll remember before we're done with Wix, Jasmine, to show you how you can literally do it.
Okay.
Maybe, yeah, I'll remember. I know that I know how to do it. This site don't have it as a default, but you can set it up where it pops up on a particular page. You can set it up where it pops up as soon as people visit your site. But yeah, that's not a page within a page.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
No problem at all.
Yeah. I heard once, like if you have a newsletter, for example, that you want to send out weekly, monthly, whatever, you may have kind of a box saying subscribe to receive latest news, and you can have that in every page. So you entice more people to sign up for whatever you want to send periodically. And it's just like a button. And then that is connected somehow to one of those programs that manage your mail. Like I see you have up there monkey something.
Yeah, and there's several ways you can do that. I think the way we did it, and I'm gonna keep using our page as an example. But when you click on our more thing, it takes you to connect. I think we just have like under our connect page, it's just a various number of things that you can do, and that's one of the things. And we just have it where it takes you to a separate link, Lorena. Ours is not set up how you're explaining, but because this is directly from our MailChimp. MailChimp gives us this link for how people can subscribe, and it puts it into our MailChimp so that it's not sending it to a third place that we then have to go put it into MailChimp, right? Versus within Wix, you see this CRM tools one? There are certain workflows and forms when you kind of go in the back end that you can set it up within Wix to build it. Now, I have not set it up through Wix, but I believe you can set it up to where it sends it to where you want it to go to. Like they have so many options. We haven't gone through the back end yet, but I'm just popping in to kind of show you like some of the features that they have that you can do this with. The only thing that I cannot confirm in this moment, because I would need to look at each individual, some of each individual automations and forms, is if it's storing it somewhere within Wix for you and you then have to send it to whatever your platform is, or if there's a way that Wix connects it to your wherever you send it from, you know? I'm pretty sure they connected. I just don't remember. I'm pretty sure they do, but yeah, that's what all these CRM tools are. Okay. Where are we? So, you know, you add whatever pages you want. You can add as many pages as you want, and you can go back and take away pages, etc. I'm not going to go through every drop detail of it, but if you do have questions as you work on your own site, just let me know. Something that I want to point out that Wix now offered, there's two things, and that's their apps. These 4 boxes here represents their apps. So you can decide to add apps to your site. It opens up the Wix App Market. Of course, with any feature, if you have the paid version, you have way more options. But of course, even with the free version, they give you a substantial amount of things. So you may see apps that you find beneficial for your website as you scroll through. You decide what works for you, what you think would be great to have on your website. It's really up to you. It's one of those things you spend time and go through it and decide. If it's something that you need, like you may need a booking thing on your site. And you see it tells you this is a paid one, this is available with the free plan. Like it's up to you. If you have a pro account, then you may get this for free with a pro account. So just know that you have apps that these are the app categories that you go through and kind of choose things. Jasmine, did you have another question, or is your hand just still up from before?
It's just still up from before. Let me figure out how to, I got it. Thank you.
All right, no problem. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't ignoring you. But let's just say we decide we want to try one of the apps. I don't use any of the apps, so I'm probably the worst person, but let's just say we decide we want 1, 2, 3 form builder and payments app. And we're going to add that to the site. You see how like literally you click it, it's literally that simple. It gives you more details so you know what it is that you're looking for. Some of them have a video that you can watch to understand how it's going to work on your site, and you can really determine where it is. Oh, Lorena, this is exactly what we were just talking about. So this one could send it from Wix to MailChimp or any other platform. About 12 platforms is what they're saying. You know what I mean? And build it into your site. So let's just say we want to add that to the site. I'm just going through the process so you can see how simple it is. So we won't necessarily do much with it. All of their disclaimers and telling you what you're allowing it to do. And then you add it to your site, and it's now a form on your site that you can get people to do whatever. You'll fill out the form, however you need to set up. Remember, when you double click on things, a menu will always pop up. When the menu pops up, you let the form know what you need it to be. Like you'll tell the form, I need you to be this type of form. You'll set your schedule. You see this alert because Wix is telling you need to do something on this page. You need to either look at the settings, create the settings, whatever. But and in this case, I'm sure it's just they need your email address. How do you want it to look, etc. Very simple stuff. I'm not going to go into detail again, but you get the gist of the apps button exists. There's a lot of options for things you may decide you want as an app, and you can add it onto your website wherever and however you want. Let's just undo that so it's not in the way. And then once you decide if you want apps or not, and again, you can always come back and do that. The other thing that Wix kind of added aside from apps is this blogging thing. And this is very important to you if you are trying to truly build your SEO. You literally click, you can start blogging, and you can start adding, you can add a blog page to your website. And you tell Wix what it is, whatever. And it's just a blog for me. And I'm still on one page, you all, but this could be on any of the pages that you want it to be like, and keep that in mind. And when you add a blog, I think 9 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10, Wix adds blog as your thing. You can go back and change that title later or whatever, how I taught you over here. Like you can go in here and change the title if you don't like it to be called blog. But Wix automatically added that blog, and you manage you have a blog manager, and you manage your blog posts and all, etc. So if you think about this existing on your website, and you marry the concepts as you walk through this with some of the things you learned with SEO last month, it makes a lot of sense, because this is probably the page that you heard me a lot talking about saying, when you're updating things constantly or changing things or going back, it's primarily related to your blog page, okay? So I just wanted you to know that feature is there. It's not mandatory for you to add a blog to your website, by no means, but if it makes sense for you and your business, which there's very few businesses that wouldn't benefit from having a blog. And that would just be the page where your blogs live. Like people can scroll and read all the blogs. Your blogs could be video blogs. You can decide it's just going to be a page full of videos. So it's up to you, right? So just wanted you to know that. And of course, I don't think I showed this to you all pictures, but these things here, like it just lets you can change certain things. Like if you decide, I don't want it to be that small, I want people to be able to read more of it, more context, or I wanted to take up more of the page, whatever. That's what that stretch button is. So I just wanted to point that out because I don't think I spoke about the stretch button before.
I have another question. I see there that you have right where it says blog, the computer image, and I guess the other is the cell phone. Is that to make sure it's viewable in on a phone or tablet? Because a lot of people, a lot of people say, oh, my website looks great on the computer, and then it looks all messed up in a regular phone.
So that's one of the steps, and we can jump to it quickly. That's one of the steps I was going to go through with you all. Once you're done setting up your website on the web, and you click, did I click mobile? Let me go back because I don't know what I just did. But yeah, I think you click, yeah, you do. I just want to go, I think it just happened too quick, so I want you to see what I did. This is telling me how to do it, but I already know how to do it. Okay. So if you're on your website, on the computer version of your website, I don't know why my computer is not cooperating. Are you all there? Did my screen go away? Did I freeze?
No, we can see it.
Oh, okay.
The mobile.
Oh no, the screen is frozen. It's not moving anymore.
Okay, let me stop sharing for a second and reshare because it froze on my side too. Let's try that one more time. Are we back?
Yes.
Okay, so if we're on the home screen, why is it not switching? Let me refresh the page or something. I want to be on the website and then show you how to switch to the mobile, but it's just not doing that. Okay, we're on the mobile site. I mean, the website itself, and let's assume you've edited all your pages. Your website looks the way you want it to look on a computer screen. one of the next steps after we go through all of the steps, one of the very last steps that you do is you go through each of your pages from a mobile point of view. Most times it's fine, but every once in a while you'll see something and you just go page by page. You hit that arrow button and go page by page. Every once in a while you'll see something that's off from a mobile version. And I recommend that you do this for every page. Like, don't assume that the system automatically made the page look right, because a lot of times it did not. I'm sure in this case, because this is their template and we didn't make a lot of changes, it's fine. But like in this case, for example, let's just say you wanted this to be the top first thing somebody see when they come to your website on a mobile page, right? All you do, literally, you click that feature and move it up. Okay? And it didn't change, it does not change anything on your web version. This is only editing your mobile version of your website. So even if you decided on a mobile site, you don't want people to have to see all these words, it's not necessarily how you want your mobile site set up. You can make changes, you can do whatever you want as you're making those edits to your mobile page, and it won't affect your other stuff. Your blogs will look, everything that you have on the website will be there. It's just you can edit it in this mode. Okay. So I think the last step that I talked about was you adding a blog. You can also, if it makes sense for your business, you can also add a online store to your site if that's something you want. Like, again, Wix has it as an option. Let me see. I think you just click add. And the way you did it was you click this plus sign, you click add. These are a lot of the things, the various variables you can add to your website, but you add it to the store. You click store and go through the options of what you need on your site. They have options. Again, paid version may have a few more options, but you just add it to your site, okay? If that's something that's beneficial to you. I wanted to point that out since a lot of you are running businesses and want to make sure that you have a suitable way for people to, did I switch to events? A suitable way for people to pay you online and for you to sell stuff online. And again, to Lorena's earlier questions, this is all set up for you to be in compliance to sell on your site. And a lot of times when you add these things and you actually start to enter your information, if there are any disclaimers, it'll show you the disclaimer so you know. And most of the time the disclaimer is coming from the vendor, like it's a PayPal disclaimer, not necessarily a Wix disclaimer or something like that. And in addition to the store, I'm not going to go through all of these, y'all. So if you see something that you have a question about, just know when you click that plus sign and things that you can add to any page on your site, first of all, you need to be on the page that you want to add those things to. So if it's something that you want to add to your services page, you want to do that. You see how I clicked over here on services in edit mode and it did not take me to services page? Like, that didn't happen because I told you to navigate to your pages in edit mode, you need to do it up here. But what does happen sometimes, like you click it, and if this site was like, if it was saved and close to done for real, you'll get two options, and one would say navigate and one would say menu. And the navigate one would take you to the menu anyways, and then it will do the same thing. You'll just have to choose. So just don't be alarmed if that happened. You just say, oh, it's up here, sorry. You click it and it's up here. It just says navigate or manage menu. And because I was trying to go to the services page, I would choose navigate, but honestly, it just still takes you back here. So don't even waste your time remembering to click this. When you're in edit mode, just go to the page you want. So yeah, if you want to add something to your services page, for example, that's on this list, like you see the options. And if you all came to the Canva class, it's kind of the same concept. Like, what do you need? Music and videos, they have it. They have examples, you can upload your own. What do you need? You want to add a box to your site because you want something to pop more, not the box that Jasmine asked about earlier, but things like that. What do you need? You need to add you want to add some type of event manager place thing to your website? Is your website the type of website where you're going to have people become members and they're going to have logins and their own usernames? So you need to add a member page to your site, so people have to do that. You know, whatever it is, you go through these things and see what makes sense for you. And it's one of those things you're kind of learning more as you go. Where you see strip, I think strip is one of the things a lot of people have asked me about in the past. Just on your site, for example, I don't think this isn't a good example of a strip. You know what? Let's go back to Hustle so I can show you a good example of a strip. On our About Us page, these boxes here are considered strips. These are considered strips for us. Like this row with me and Kelly is a strip. This row with Leah and Tony is a strip. And that's just, our strips are very simple, easy to figure out, but that's what you're adding when you're doing a strip. Like you see, they're kind of default strips if you need that to your site. And again, you can edit as you need, okay? So just wanted to bring that to your attention. Now, a very important thing, what time is it? 1:26. Oh my goodness, this time flew by. A very important thing, and we'll probably have to pick up this last one in more detail next week. So maybe the first 15 minutes will be the back end, 15, 20 minutes will be the back end, then we'll jump into WordPress. But the very next thing that I want to point out to you is your SEO for each page. So each page has its own SEO. So you would go to, well, there are several ways you can go to it, but let's just say you go to manage pages. Each page has, you see the 3 dots next to it. You click on the 3 dots and you see where it says SEO basics. You want to click on that and it'll take you to SEO basics of that page. And again, if you came to the session last month, a lot of this looks and sounds familiar to you. This is where you're inputting what you want Google to pick up. Okay. And again, they have things to help you. So if you need help and you need to go to the SEO whiz, you do that. If you don't, you want Google to not just know this as home, but you wanted to know it as something else in addition to home, you edit it, you put in that meta description, all of these things. It's built in to help you do that. And I suggest you do it for every single page on your site. But if you don't do it for any other page, there are 2 pages I'm going to stress that you do it for: your home page, and if you have a contact page to go. But I suggest you do it on every single page. Some people want to get a little bit more advanced and they go to their advanced SEO. I don't fool with it because it's not necessarily my expertise per se, but there are a lot of people who understand every single one of these things and they're a little bit more advanced with it. And, like I said, Google, this will tell you what each thing means. Like you can read it more. And if you decide it's not important to you, you don't want Google to pick it up, you check, uncheck as it applies to you. And Wix, not just for the SEO page, for just about everything that you can do on Wix, you can always hire a Wix person, but you do pay for that. You do pay for a Wix person to manage certain things like this for you, okay? So again, you want to do that for every page. You go to the manage pages, you click those 3 dots and manage that SEO basics every page, because it's important to your business that you get your SEO together on your website. And you're basically optimizing it for Google and other search engines to recognize you and say, come and tell people about me. I'm gonna pause here. The next step that I would have told you about, we already went through, which was the mobile version, like making sure after you do your SEO. And Lorena, I'm sharing this again because I don't suggest you go change your mobile until you've done your SEO on this site. Then I would suggest you go to your mobile and make your edits and all of that, because the SEO is already tagged to certain features, however you decided to tag them, So no matter if you move it, this image, that SEO is still tagged to that image and all of that stuff. You just want to make sure you get that together. That's just my mindset. You don't have to do it that way. That's just how my mind operates. And this is a perfect place. There's only 2 more steps left in this process once you get everything right. And that's to number 1, if you have a domain, connect the domain. And number 2, publish the site, which we'll go through. next week. Like I said, next week we'll spend about 15 or 20 minutes. I said this last time, but we're going to spend about 15 or 20 minutes going through the back end of Wix, so you can kind of have a better understanding of how to navigate this and how you manage your site once it is there going forward. And, you know, just if that's something that's of interest to you, just so you know what exists and how to do that. So that's what we'll focus on, including connecting your domain and all of that stuff, showing you how simple that can be. And then we'll spend the second half, and I'm saying this with my fingers crossed. Thank goodness September has 5 weeks in it for us. But I'm crossing my fingers saying that we would start WordPress the second half of next week, and then finish WordPress through the rest of the series. So that's what we'll stop for today. I think it's super simple, y'all. Don't let it stress you out. I see there's a question, so please feel free. I know it's 1:30, so if you have to go, we definitely understand. But if you have a question, jump.
Yeah, I was gonna, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Okay, I was gonna ask you, how do we make sure the top portion of the page, it shows the same, like the same, the links that you had, like contact, all of that, and then it's always the same across all pages.
Like a
Like
header.
consulting, where it says consultant, that you have the home, about, services, contact, blog, that's your heading, and on all web pages.
So that shouldn't go away. By default, that will be there. Is that what you mean? Like no matter what page you want this to still be shown?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that it will be there. The only way it won't be there is if you set it up to not do it. Like your header will be there unless you set up your website to not show your header, because some websites, and especially websites that are like one-page websites, I don't know, Marianne, is your website still up?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Megaly, it was
What is it again? What's your website again?
www.hopecoachmarianne up.
Hope Coach Marianne up.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'm showing you this example, Lorena, because, oh, I spelled something wrong. Hope Coach, sorry. Hope Coach Marianne.
I am.
Is this right?
Yeah.
I'm showing her site particularly, Lorena, because this is something that she, like with her site, so I think this, Jasmine, this is what you're talking about. I can't remember if we added this to Marianne's site or if it was what default, but I'll make sure I touch base with this next week with you, Jasmine. But Lorena, what I wanted to point out to you is a lot of one-pager sites, and it's not necessarily a one-page site, sort of, but it is, because no matter when you click any of these, you're not actually going to another page on Marianne's site. Like if you click About Me, we just anchored it to go a little lower on her page. If you click Contact, it just anchored to go to the bottom. She has a one-page site, okay? Which I think works great for what she wanted with her site. But I use her site as an example because as you scroll you kind of see her menu does disappear, right? That was at the top. But we could have set it up to where it stayed, and we set it up to where somebody could just slightly go up and it's going to pop back up no matter where you are on the site. But like, it's really one of those things, if you're on a site, like a general site, that header is not going to go anywhere. Like it's going to be there. You would have to set it up in your settings that you don't want it to be there. As people transition your pages and all of things like that, you would have to set it up on your page settings. And I think each individual would have their own settings, and you would have to, it's more complicated for it to not be there, but you can do that if you didn't want it.
Okay, now as long as it's set that I don't want it to change, because my website, whenever I have it, it will have that home page, it will have services. Well, it's going to have one page for podcast and sub pages for each podcast episode. But then I'm interested in Marianne's website. She had all the little images for like Facebook and all of, on the very top. You see link in Facebook, Twitter, and all of that. And then is that easy to create those in?
Yeah, it's a simple one. So like in the add button, First, before I even show you the add button, most of the sites by default, like the template sites, if you choose a template, or even if you build one from scratch, you'll need to add it. But most of the templates have a minimum of like some social media somewhere on the site. Some of them it's at the top, whatever. You can click that section and make edits as you need to. You can add more icons or whatever, and then you can, again, by default, it's likely going to be on every page. And if for some reason you notice it's not on every page, you can edit that to make sure it's on every page. But let's just say you have a template that doesn't have social media, or you started from a blank template, so you need to add your own social media. Again, you hit that add button and you go to social. And it's there. And once it's there, what I want most people to know is, although social media is there, Wix default is that these things are linked to Wix social media. So you have to click on it and add your own social media link. So you click Facebook, and you would add your Facebook link here. You understand what I mean? You would add your Facebook link. Sorry, you would add your Facebook link here.
Yeah, because that one takes you to Facebook Wix, and you add your own one.
Yeah, you would edit it and change it to your own Facebook. You click the link button and change it to your own link or whatever. Same thing with the title for SEO purposes. I suggest you change the title to your business's, whatever you want it to recognize, what you want Google to recognize that image as. Okay, like Lorena's website, Facebook. You know what I mean? So just simple stuff like that. It's a bit time consuming, but it makes a difference in making sure your website is one of the first websites people find in their search when they're looking for your types of services or products.
Well, this has been amazing. I'm definitely now no longer afraid of building my website.
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. It's very simple. And I think you'll find that WordPress is simple too when we get to WordPress. So next week, I told you what we'll cover, and I'll make sure I send the email reminders to everyone. I don't know, my week has been crazy, so I just haven't done it. And I definitely will have that answer for you, Jasmine. So I need to look at it again to see how I do it, but I'll have that for you next week. So whether you can make it or not, just make sure you watch next week's recording if you can't make it, because I'll make sure I address it. And if I don't for any reason, which I don't think I will forget, I will make sure that, if I don't bring it up, please ask the question again. Did everybody get their email requests from last week for anybody who requested anything individual? Yep. Okay, perfect. I'm happy to hear that. All right. Well, I'm sorry.
Magdalene, I'm telling you, this is good for me, even though the website is done. It's good to know all this.
Yeah.
Because I think they changed it. They changed some of
Yeah,
it.
and they changed it since we did that. Was that a little over a year ago? Yeah, they've changed some things. So yeah. So awesome. Well, did you have a question, Marianne?
No.
Okay. Well, I know we're over time. We're right at 1:38. So thank you all so much. And thank you to those on Facebook. And we will see you all next week. Same time, same place. All right.
Thank
All
you.
right.
See you next
Bye,
week.
y'all.
Bye.